Guess what, everybody? Super League 2025 is back. John Wilkin, the bench is back as well.
Yeah,
the podcast, how exciting! You're back.
Oh dear.
And our first guest of the 2025 season, I feel very lucky that we're here with you, a fellow compatriot, Australian.
You're going to gang up on me. You're going to talk about beaches and stuff.
Brad Arthur, the Leeds Rhinos head coach. Welcome to the bench. I want to cover everything. I want to cover preseason. I want to cover last year.
Can I start with something?
Oh, go on then.
Well, the fact that Brad, when he came, was only meant to be here for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it's the most unique thing is to come over. I suppose, like, what was hoped to be achieved in that 10 weeks?
Well, you know what, I was at home and I was out of work for a couple of weeks and we went to Bali and that was all right. But then when I got back to Bali, I was driving everyone mad at home. I just needed to work.
So you got kicked out?
Yeah.
Getting back to work.
Go to Leeds.
I just needed to work and this opportunity come up and I said, well, what have I got to lose? Like, I can only get something out of it. And then I got here for 10 weeks, really enjoyed the people in the club and I like the game, the way it's played. And so I thought it was a good challenge for me and to take myself out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And living away from my family was another challenge too.
I love that, 10 week contract.
Yeah.
Might be onto something. Maybe
But your wife is now over here, isn't she? She's made the trip over?
Yep.
Yep.
So her and Charlotte are here. They've gone back at the moment just to watch the boys in a couple of trials, but they'll go back and forth a bit.
Yeah.
So I probably couldn't have stayed if they didn't come over. So I'm grateful for the sacrifices they made and my daughters made around uni. It's going to be a tough 10 months without the boys, but you know, like it'll be good for them as well to grow up.
That family connection is tough, isn't it? Jenna, you know more than anybody, obviously living away from family in this country, but you're a tight family is what I'm sensing, Brad, from that.
Well, we spend every minute of every day together for like Jake's 22 now, so for 21 years of it.
So where's Jake? Jake's playing at?
He's at Manly.
At Manly,
yeah. And he left Parramatta 12 months ago to go to Manly, and I've seen the growth in him, you know, to get away from dad and, you know, to do things on his own. And Matthew's gone to Newcastle, and so he's, you know, had to go up there and get in a house on his own and do things. So it's been better for them and their growth. And they probably talk to me more about footy now than they ever have. They used to hate talking to me about footy, so... Actually,
when you were coaching them, they hated talking to you about.
Yeah, and I used to try and leave them alone as much as I could, and let the other coaches do most of the work with them. But now it's actually they want my opinion, which is nice.
Good.
Yeah.
So, any opportunities maybe to bring them over, and will they be playing for Leeds in the not too distant future?
Maybe in 10 years' time, but I'm still. I think they're hopeful of trying to forge they're still starting out and hopefully trying to forge an NRL career. But I've said to them that I'd love to come back in 10 years' time and it'd be unreal, like to coach them. But we'll see.
I said at the top how lucky we are to have Brad Arthur, the Leeds Rhinos head coach, on the podcast. One of the reasons we can have access to him today is because we're at the Super League launch.
We are at the launch. Yeah.
For the 2025 season. Brad, you're sat here today before a ball has been kicked. What is your feeling about the team that you've assembled? Your pre-season, what is your feeling? How do you think the Rhinos are going to go in 2025?
I hope for the players' sake and the club's sake that all the hard work that they've done throughout the pre-season shows on the field. You know, like every team is working hard, every club's working hard.
But no one tougher than pre-season under Brad Arthur, I've heard.
Look, it's been hard, but you don't get anything out of life from not working hard, and it's all. You know, I've had to do everything in my life the hard way, and you know, like these guys asked for accountability. They wanted higher standards and expectations.
Might be regretting that one.
Yeah, but they wanted the truth. You know what? They wanted to be held accountable, and the thing that really pleases me is, they've worked hard, but they haven't just been all lip service. You know, they've actually actioned it, and had to have some tough conversations. They've had to tell them some truths.
So what are the truths?
Well, we need to be a team that is willing to play for 80 minutes. So, you know, I'm not going to say that anyone was soft or, you know, those words, because no one's soft that plays in that game. But we just needed to be harder physically and be able to withstand the resilience of our game, you know. So we just had to up the ante with more running,
Yeah, I was going to say, how much of that, what you're talking about, that relentless nature of the game, 80-minute performances, all of that revolves around fitness.
Yeah.
And not like a mental fitness as well, but
sometimes it's boring. And, you know, like some of the fitness we've done, at the start of pre-season, you know, we'd block our fitness at the end of the session, you know, for the first couple of weeks, but then we moved it to blocking our conditioning. So it might be like a 30 or 40-minute block of just pure running, then go and execute your skill and under a bit of fatigue and pressure, but then mix it all in. So you're going from a bit of running and con or wrestling into some football and back and forth, and throw a few con games in there and stuff that, you know, just to throw them off whack a little bit, because you've got to be able to handle the changes, and there's constant changes in our game. So I think they've enjoyed that sort of training, and we got better. Every time we've done something new, it was a bit of a struggle for us, but then after they'd have their second or third opportunity, they got better and better. So, and unfortunately, it's just repetition. You can't avoid it. You just got to do it over and over.
Isn't it boring? You know, like when people are like fascinated by sport, and sometimes it blows my mind how, you know, like businesses are like fascinated with what we do or what we've done. It literally repetition and mastery of the simple things.
Yeah.
It's simplicity repeated over and over again with discipline and intent and focus and all of that.
Yeah.
But people in life, right, want a little silver bullet, don't they, that solves all the problems. You see it online now, like everybody needs a tablet that makes them healthy. Everybody takes an injection that makes them lose weight.
Well, they just want the easy option.
Yeah, you want a quick thing to a very long and arduous process. And rugby's, like, for me, has always been a long, tough slog.
No shortcuts.
Yes, and I think I got taught a really good lesson, which cost me my job at Parramatta. I think that we made a grand final. We're playing against the best team of the era for a long, long time, and they were just too good for us.
Yeah.
And maybe I tried to find too many things that we need to improve and change too much and tinker with too much, instead of just being what we were really good at. Just keep repeating it to get closer or better than the team that we beat.
It was maybe that what got you unstuck
Well,
at Parramatta, or one of the things.
Yeah, one of the things that when I walked away, and as a lesson, I feel like maybe try to go from here to there. We didn't need to go to there. We just needed to go a little bit.
Was that almost you were focusing more on Penrith and what they brought as opposed to what the Eels?
Yeah, and maybe going away from all our good traits, and, you know, like everyone wants to feel good too. You know, like the players probably get sick of hearing, "Oh, you've got to be better at this, better at that." You know, which is true, but you know, you've got to be good at what you're good at.
Yeah.
And then you just be better at it and doing it for longer periods, and that was probably a bit of the learning I took away from it.
It's so often that the solutions are already in the room, aren't they?
Yeah.
You start looking under rocks trying to find things that are wrong, and teams I've played in, the solutions are always there, and we just needed to refine sort of what we did.
When you go back to those Parramatta days, do you have any regrets?
Oh, look, I've got a few along the way, but if I didn't have regrets, I wouldn't have been pushing the boundaries either. You know, like so some of the regrets, you know, are around my style of coaching. Is, you know, like I think I'm good on instinct, but then at times, you know, in the pressure environment, you want a lot of opinion, and then sometimes maybe you let opinion cloud your instinct and go against your gut feeling. So like that was a strength of mine, was my gut feeling, but then at times it was a weakness. And like the players were really good in telling me, most of the time you're right with your gut instinct and back it. And you know, sometimes maybe I was too loyal. So again, I feel like that was a strength of mine, but maybe it was a bit of a weakness at times.
What do you mean? Like,
well,
with players,
as a coach, everyone. Like as a coach, you feel your job is to help and improve people, and you think you're a fixer, you can fix everything. You know, and then sometimes it just, there's some things that you can't have an impact on or change, and you just need to know when to draw the line. And
so, who is Brad Arthur, the coach, then?
Now I think I'm better. I think this group of players that I've worked with has allowed me to be better, because I've been able to. Well, I know exactly what sort of coach I am and what I'm about, because I've had to go away, write it down, present it to the team on exactly how we want to play, what style of footy. Whereas,
so we were just chatting before about Parramatta. You'd not lost that, but you'd been there that long that it was almost presumed. Everybody sort of
just
knew
knew.
it.
You know, like it felt like we just keep going over the same stuff. So we didn't have to each year outline, this is who we are, what we want to do, and you know, I had to sort of well, how do I coach, and what's our matrix look like? Where does it start? What's our foundation? What's the next part of it? What's the next part of it? And, you know, until we get to the top. So to go away and write it down, and it actually taught me a bit about myself because I knew what sort of coach I was, but I've never had to tell people or write it down. So
it's in a top secret file. Ian Blease has got it. It's just Brad Harper's magic.
Hang on, I want to know. I want to know what's in this file. That was my next question.
Don't ruin the illusion, Brad.
It's just simple. You need that foundation that every team identity and clubs build around, and then it's just and then how other bits start to add to it where it gets to the top of it is what's the individual's job or role in all that, but it's all about what your strengths down the bottom, and there's things that you have to do in a game if you want to be a chance of winning. There's a way or a mentality or physicality an effort base that you need to play with to win.
So what is Leeds Rhinos of 2025? What are they built on?
The one thing that when we walk away at the end of the year, I want to make sure that every week this team was able to play at 80 minutes. Because there's going to be good times in the game. There's going to be really good weeks for us. There's going to be bad weeks. There's going to be bad times in the game, but it's just having that bit of resolve. And we've worked and talked a lot about our reactions to things. Not everything's going to be perfect in the game, but it's how we deal with it and react and respond to it, which could be the difference in the game. There's going to be big moments that are going to be great for us.
Yeah.
And it's, do we get comfortable then, or do we get too excited from that? Or there's going to be big moments that are going to work against us, but then we can have a bigger moment with 5 guys chasing back and saving a try and getting our line set and defending the set. And that could be the turning point in the game. So we've worked on a lot of scenario-based stuff when we're tired and under pressure and they're feeling like rubbish.
One scenario I'm sure you you didn't think would happen. Mike Acevo out.
Yes.
Oh no.
For the season.
Do you know what? I was gutted, not because I just thought he was such a big presence, an amazing guy for us to all talk about. I was excited to watch him play. And then more for him, right? Yeah. And I was thinking, he's come over to this country and he innocuously tries and jams Bevan French out of nowhere, slips, knee's gone. So I thought about Leeds and I thought about the loss to the competition, but I also thought about him. I thought, man, that's a tough place.
It is, and it's, the boys really warmed to him very quickly because he's a very likeable person. He would have been a crowd favourite, and he will be next year because he'll be diligent with his rehab. The club will look after him. It would have been nice for the players to play alongside him. They were enjoying what he did in this.
To coach him again as
well.
Yeah,
and because he's a great person. He's got a beautiful family. And it is sad for him because, you come into a new team and, he knew the expectations and he's coming from the NRL. And so he feels like, he hasn't said it, but I'm sure he feels like he's let a lot of people down. But it's just part of the game. And he'll be better for it next year. But you're right. It's the main person that probably is affected more out of it than anyone is Micah himself.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, then I guess your plans for 2025.
Well, Ash Handley obviously had changed his squad number to 4. So it was Harry Newman 3, Ash Handley 4, which I was excited about as well. I thought actually Ash is a better athlete than just being chucked on the wing. Sometimes I could see his movement.
He's good. He can finish, but he's a very good creator. He's good defensively.
Yeah.
He's a great leader. I just wanted him getting closer to the action.
Yeah, getting the ball.
He's got nice ability to know where the space is around him and when he needs to create it or just play early. So
we're going to see him.
He's going to stay in the centres.
Right, so that means you bring a young boy in.
Yep.
You bring one of the young boys in.
You know what? Well, that's what happens at times like this. It just creates opportunities for other guys to step up, and then all of a sudden you go, geez, where'd this kid come from? So
and Leeds are blessed in that. They've got obviously Riley Lum, Ned McCormack. There's a lot of great young Alfie Edgell who
he scored 4 tries in a wing on one of those games for us. So and he's had a big pre-season.
Yes. A word on Jake Connor as well, because he's looking in great shape.
He is looking good.
Yeah.
I've not that's Jake in good shape.
Yeah.
For Jake,
One of the things, I love winning and, and I enjoy the pain of losing, but the one thing I love about coaching is getting the opportunity to improve players and working with those guys that are a bit of a project. And, I've tried to pride myself on that, and I feel like that's where I've been, probably my strength has been as a coach.
Yeah.
And because there's not a lot of the footy that I need to worry about with him or teach him or, he understands the game very good. It's just him understanding what the rest of his teammates are going to value out of him more in his game, and it's around his effort areas and his physicality and how he fits in and plays with the team and not on his own. And I think that's where we're going to see the benefit of him this year, and he's bought into everything. Then I've had some real tough conversations. The first conversation was in week 1, I don't think you're fit enough, and I don't think you're going to be in the team week 1.
Right.
Right now, I'm telling you, you're not in the
What
team
did his
week 1.
face look like when you told him
No
that?
worries. Thanks for the honesty. I'll make sure I do something about it.
Awesome.
I loved it.
That's good. That's
and then
good,
at Christmas time, I said, you've improved, but I still don't think you're there yet. and to his credit,
well, that's why he looks great.
He's worked hard, and at times the boys were seeing a lot of good things, and then they've seen some things they weren't happy about, and like they've had conversations with him. But his ability to accept it for what it is and go, everyone's just trying to make me better.
Yeah.
I hope for his sake that he has a good year.
Yeah, and I think for me as a pundit, we get drawn on talking about Jake Connor all the time, rightly or wrongly. People want to talk about him. I get asked questions about him all the time, and I've been quite dismissive because I didn't want to talk about him too much. You know, when he was obviously not in a good place. His body language on the field, his reaction to mistakes and errors, and there's almost a petulance to how he played.
This is when he was playing for Huddersfield?
Yeah, and I just felt like we spent a lot of time talking about him, and I felt like he'd had his chance. Do you know? And that's me being really honest.
Do you feel, Brad, this is his chance? 2025 is his big chance?
Well, I think it's his chance to get the best out of himself, because obviously he's a very good player there. That's, from all reports, and I'm only, what I've been told is probably underachieved the whole way through his career. And I think he's enjoying also being in a team where he doesn't feel like he has to do everything as well, and there's not the weight of the world on his shoulders. So I think that'll help him. And he's a great bloke. And he's been receptive to everything that we've tried to do. And sometimes I said to him, you got to make sure when I'm talking to you, actually listen and not, have an answer for me, because he understands the game so well. Sometimes I just want to just listen and then go away and think about it. Then you can come back with the answer to me.
He's already got his answers ready.
Because he knows. But and it's had to just keep drilling away at it. And this is what's best for the team.
When you see a player kind of have that response to a message that you've given him, I mean, that must be so rewarding.
It is, and that's why I said that's what the bit I love about it. Is having these guys that everyone. I'm driven by. You can't, you won't. I love that. Working with those guys. The other one is I've really enjoyed working with is Nikolai. Everyone's told me, athletically how good he is, but I heard a lot of negative stuff about him. How he played last year, or he needs to be more forceful, he needs to be the leader, needs to be tougher, and he took it all on board. But he's someone that I think is going to have a big season for us.
Great.
And he's so good physically.
I think everybody wants. You want right. When I watch games, I want to see, let's keep going well. I want to see him go well. I want to see Jake Connor play amazingly well. We want to see that. So I'm excited. You said about you love a project, right?
Yeah.
My question to you now, Brad, is who's the toughest project? Is there a project that was too big for you that you had to let go? Is there a player that? What's your biggest? All right, I'll make it simple because you're not going to throw anybody under the bus. You're not going to throw anybody under the bus.
Yeah.
What's the most proud turnaround of a player that you've had to deal with?
Oh, look, there's plenty that come to mind, and I don't want to leave anyway. But I remember the conversation I had with Murata Nukora when he first came to Parramatta, and it was a bit of a funny story with the players. Couldn't believe I'd say it to him, because he looks you in the eye and he wants to kill you. But I was eating an apple one day, and I brought him into my office, and I told him that the apple was tougher than him and harder than him. And just give him some real. Yeah, this is when he first started.
Did you have your running shoes on?
We were doing some conditioning, and he kept stopping it on the runs. And so I just but he was someone that and I had a lot of. At times I was willing to give up on him.
Yeah, right.
And then he just kept persistent with him until he realised what he needed to do.
Why did you keep persisting with him?
Because I thought you were going to say, why did you have the apple?
Because
it was a weapon, just in case.
And he came into the office, and I was just fired up. And so.
Was it because you saw something in him? What was it? Was it you liked something about him? Why? Why didn't you give up on him?
Because there was plenty of glimpses of hope, and then there'd be, and that's. I was still young as a coach too then, and I was still learning. Not everything's going to be perfect, and you go really good, and then you go back to that, and I think, I'm wasting my time, and I had good people around me, staff as well, saying, look, just keep persistent, and in terms of the salary cap, he was just on a standard contract, so it wasn't a costly exercise to persist with him. And then it gets to the stage where we turn him into a grand finalist, and he leaves the club because he's demanding that much money. But I developed a closer relationship with him off the field, and my wife and daughter used to look after his kids, and so they're the sort of stories.
Yeah.
And he's only one of many. I've seen Mitchell Moses grow.
Yeah, wow.
Into a dad, and that's a bit about the game that I really love.
I think if anybody's at Leeds now and they walk into the office and they see Brad with an apple, be worried. That's all I'm saying. Or even any fruit. It could be any fruit, whatever fruit.
No, I've had to learn to mellow a bit now. So it's good. Yeah.
You mellow.
Brad, something I want to pick up on that you said at the start was you love the game over here. You love the style of the game. So why is it different? What's the biggest difference that you've noticed since you've been here?
Oh, maybe it's not so much the game, but it's more what it's for me. Like how I've been able to. It's challenged me. It's taken me out of my comfort zone. It's challenged me to, go away and think about the sort of coach I am, how I get a team ready. Even though I thought I knew it, but being able to then talk it to the players. I feel like the players have been so open to the buy-in. It's given me the confidence to go again.
You've been impressed by the younger players over here.
Yeah. There's no arrogance.
Yeah.
There's no egos.
Right.
Great level of respect. And that was the biggest thing of why I went past the 10 weeks and I stayed more than the 10 weeks, just because of the people in the game.
I was chatting to John Cartwright, a similar sort of theme. He's like, he came in, there's a lot of young guys who were just willing to learn, get on board, quite happy to come into work, not many grumbles.
There's a real thirst of, they love their job and they want to get better and they want to learn. So like that, there's that part of it. And the style of footy that you can play, I feel like you can also coach with a little bit more freedom because there's not as much scrutiny.
Yeah. Oh, you just wait now, Brad. No. We're going to be scrutinised.
Yeah, that's all right. That's good. I don't sort of.
No,
I've never been into social.
I think how many grand finals in a row to the Leeds Rhinos?
5,
So there's a bit of animosity there.
There's not. I was dead honest about Leeds, how they were, how I saw it when just before you came.
Yeah.
I think it upset. I don't think it upset people actually. I think I was accurate, as in they were just a little bit passive.
Yeah.
It's not competing in games.
It's the truth, and the boys were open to it. They just needed to. Yeah. So there's not as much. When I say like the pressure, you can try a few things, and I don't follow social media. I don't know how to use it. Whereas in Australia, it's always in your face. So even if there was some criticism, I wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
Because I haven't got people telling me about it all the time. So I just feel like there's just a touch more freedom there, and you don't realise until you actually get away from it that maybe, I'll feel like I'll be stronger when I'm back in Australia too on some things when I talk about my gut instinct that I wanted to do, but then maybe you think, maybe I can't do that.
Yeah.
So we are going to lose you then at the end of the year.
Well,
he's just said how close he is to his boys. Can you? I know.
Maybe they could come over and play.
I know, but imagine your boys were playing.
Yeah, I get it. I know.
In the NRL.
Yes.
Or trying to play in the NRL and you're over here. I just think that's a tough.
I really enjoyed it, and I've liked, I've got a bit of culture about me now. Like Gary's taking me around and showing me a bit of England.
Gary's giving you culture, right?
But it's, I used to just go to work, go home, go to work, go to work. That was all I did, all the time.
So you got out and about.
I've used more public transport in 5 months that I've been here with my wife. That's what she said. You've been on more public transport than you went on in 50 years.
Public transport here is so good compared to
back home. It is, but I wouldn't get on public transport. I wouldn't go anywhere in Australia.
You're very famous back home. You would be absolutely.
Would you get mobbed in Sydney?
Yeah.
Not mobbed, but
it's just,
especially if your team's not going well, you're not, it's just what, so just become a bit insular,
reclusive.
Okay, so let me get on to the final question before we get on to our very special segment on and off the bench. Yes, it is still going in 2025. For you to be happy at the end of this year, what needs to happen? And basically my question is, are the Leeds Rhinos going to win at Old Trafford in 2025?
Jeez. Wow.
Everyone sitting here today, if they're getting asked that question, is thinking the same, that they want to.
Do you believe you can? You've got the team that can?
Yeah, but there's a lot of work and there's a lot of things that need to happen between now and then. The first thing we need to do is be that team that can be in every game for 80 minutes, but not 1 week, not 3 weeks, but 5 or 7, like Wigan are. and their game doesn't change. Who they play, when they play, So that's the thing. When I'm comfortable that we are the team that we want to be and that we said we're going to be every week, regardless of what's happening around us, then we'll be more of a chance of talking about silverware. But until we're that team, and look, do I believe that they want to be? Yes. And do I believe that they can? Yes. But now we've got to go and action it. Look,
this is where someone takes what you've just said there and writes an article heading above it. It's not Australia now, but this is what would happen.
Yeah, that's
Arthur
fine.
says Leeds will win.
And
that's good. It doesn't happen over here that much, though.
Yeah.
That's the level of scrutiny.
Which is fine. But if you get asked the question, I need to sit here, and the players need to know that I believe in them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I believe in what we're doing. But we've got a lot of good teams to beat, and we've got a lot of hard work to do between now and then, because anything can happen.
And it's a
anything
long way
can
off,
happen.
October.
Just on Wigan of last season, how do you think they would have gone in the NRL?
Well, I think they've shown that they've played in those games. World Club Challenge, and they're a good side. And the thing, which is the difference, I think, between the two games, is just like every week is absolutely brutal in the NRL, and and having that resilience to do it every single week. But like on their day, Wigan, well, they've showed it. It's just being able to do it every week and still doing it at the end of the year, and then still being able to do it a couple of weeks after that.
So you see them as your biggest threat in 2025?
I think a lot of whole KR, they got close to them. I think the competition is very healthy. I really do, and a lot of teams have recruited well, new coaches. Everyone's got that bit of hope, So I think it's going to be a healthy competition.
Okay, on and off the bench, a segment, Brad, that we've been doing for a couple of years now. On the bench is something you want to see less of in the game. Off the bench is something you want to inject into the game. You want to see more of it.
Can I go on the bench?
I was going to do something different for you this year, because. So, Brad, have you got any ideas? Is there anything maybe from the NRL that you like that's not over here that you'd like to see more of, or?
Well, I like the idea of the Captain's Challenge. I think that's good.
Brilliant.
I think it might be tricky to get used to it early in the piece for a lot of teams, but I really like that idea.
Can I just make an observation on Captain's Challenge? Right, they said that you get another challenge when it goes into Golden Point. Is that right? So you automatically get your challenge back if you've used it.
Has that been confirmed?
Yeah. So when it goes into Golden Point, will every Golden Point drop goal not get challenged?
Yes.
It will, won't it?
Yeah.
But
I just think that might become a bit of a farce, even if it's just a fair, and everyone goes, right, Captain's Challenge. Just calling it.
There has been some games in the NRL where they didn't have that option, or they hasn't been challenged, and games have been decided on a field goal where they've been incorrect. So
well, there you go.
Off an incorrect decision. So it's tough to go 80 minutes, drag yourself into a Golden Point, and then you get beat.
I'm happy with that. That's the first person who's taught me round.
I get what you're saying, but you're out there for 80 minutes slugging it away, and then you get beat.
Challenges.
And it goes to 85 minutes, and then you get beat on a foul play from a drop, on the field goal.
All right, Brad.
So that's,
you win.
No, I don't win. It's another view.
It's 1-0.
Another view.
Okay, so that's something you want to see more of, which that's happening. Big thumbs up for the Captain's Challenge. What about less of? Anything that's happening over here that you don't like, that you'd like to maybe get rid of?
I think there's a lot of interference in the ruck at times. And I think the way you promote the game over here is if, obviously, people want to see tries and attacking play, and then sometimes, I just feel like the ruck can get stifled a little bit. So I'd like to probably see that at times when you've earned the right for a quick...
Speed it up.
Well, if you've earned the right for a quick play the ball, let's play, instead of it getting slowed down, slowed down, because there's a lot of... I want to see Ash Hanley get the ball in a bit of space, Brady Croft, with some time. So... Bevan French, the more time he gets, that's what brings more fans to the game.
He's dangerous with no time, Bevan, isn't he?
Yeah, well,
give him another, give him half a second.
Maybe not against Wigan then. Slow it down.
Okay, love it. John Wilkin, just because we're here at the...
on the bench? Can I do an on the bench one? It's just, I want a season launches on the bench.
You want the season launches?
Yeah, just put it on the bench.
Then we don't get all this time.
I know we do get this. I'm no disrespect. No, this is not a criticism of Brad's contribution on the podcast.
Right.
It's more, you just hear the same stuff.
Had a good pre-season. We're ready to go. Yes, we're going to win it.
But it's from a coach, it's hard too. We get asked about how hard you train. Well, everyone trains hard.
I know, but I think someone's lying. Somebody has to be lying.
Right.
No, I'm saying that they have to be, don't they? Not everybody.
Yeah,
Not
fair
everybody can be delighted.
Yes,
Anyway,
Okay, so
carry on.
just because it's the season launch, just for our viewers, our listeners at home
Yeah.
who might not be across what's happened in the off season,
Right.
you've got a minute 30. I'm going to time you. I've got my stopwatch.
Minute 30
a
to
minute
do
30 to wrap up. Like every club, I want to hear what's happening in the
Every
off
club.
season. Yep, not everything, but just a minute 30. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
This is going to test him. Take your marks. Get
All
set.
right, yeah.
Go.
All right, Wakefield are back in Super League after coming up from the Championship. Signed Tom Johnston and Mike McMeekin. Big season for them. New stadium, new ownership. Fantastic. Castleford, slim pickings. If they get injuries, they're done. Danny Maguire, first year as a head coach. I'm super excited to see how he does. Huddersfield, wow, Tom Burgess, he's broke the bank. He's on a fortune there. Luke Robinson in his first year. He's taken over of recruitment. I think that's big for Huddersfield. Where else have we got? Hull FC. Wow, they're on the edge of going under. Andrew Thurkel's come
30
in,
seconds.
Richie Myler's gone in. They've recruited real well. John Asiata, Zach Hardacre, Aidan Caesar. They've got loads of experience and loads of youth. I'm just interested to see how that works with nothing down
Keep
the
going.
middle. Catalan Dragons, Sam Tompkins is back again. We've got Tavita Pangai Jr., Luke Keary, Steve McNamara under a bit of pressure.
40 seconds to go.
Right, okay, thank you.
Maybe
Hull KR,
Leeds?
yeah, I'm getting to Leeds.
Okay.
Hull KR, Willie Peters, the only way is up. They've signed Jared Warrior Hargreaves, 14 sellouts at home. It's only good
30
news
seconds
coming
to
out
go.
of Hull KR. Saints, not sure. They got thumped by Salford in the first pre-season friendly. I don't read too much into that, but Tristan Taylor, excited to see him. Wigan, wow, they'll do it again. Bevan French is the best player in the comp by a mile. Which teams am I missing?
Leeds.
Leeds, I'm getting to Leeds, but
Yeah,
there's another
okay.
one. Salford.
Salford.
Salford are in trouble. If they have to sell the players, they could be gone. Anybody else?
Hull KR, have you done Hull
Okay,
KR?
Yeah.
Leeds. Under Brad Arthur, I'm expecting Leeds to be tough this year. Tough to.
You've missed out people. I've been counting. I don't know who.
Yeah, but-
Warrington.
Oh yeah, they'll be all right.
Okay, time's up. That was a pretty good effort.
That was very
good. Brad Arthur, thank you so much
right,
for giving
yeah.
us
Thank
so
you.
much of your time at this launch. It's been wonderful to have you on. The first episode of season 2025 of The Bench.
2025.
It's going to be a long year. Cannot wait. Thanks for watching.